Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back to another edition of this Motorsport Manager career. We've got round 7, the British Grand Prix in Guildford coming up today. It is our home Grand Prix, home race for Lando Norris as well. It is the track which we should perform strongest at this season, as the engine and rear wing are crucial here. They are our two best parts in the car. The suspension is, whilst it's not much better than the other parts we've got in the car, is our third best overall car. The engine and the rear wing, actually no, the rear wing is not the best rated rear wing in the game. We've actually been overtaken in terms of development between the last race and this race by the Ferrari team, but the engine still looks like it's the best overall. Meanwhile, in the Drivers' Championship, Esteban Ocon is still leading there. We are still winning the Constructors' Championship after 6 rounds. Mercedes, Ferrari are coming back really strong now. I've fixed their reliability issues, actually editing the save file. I've fixed their reliability issues, so hopefully they're going to get over what has been hampering them this season. Obviously, a lot of our points have come from some really good strategy calls in the wet weather and some luck as well, and the Mercedes and Ferrari been pretty terrible for reliability this season, which has helped us out a great deal. But as we see, Mercedes and Ferrari are coming back really strong. I have noticed with the Ferrari team though, they have fired Mauricio Arrivabene and brought in Gary Horner. Gary Horner, the owner and founder of the Ardern Racing team, has taken over as team principal, and obviously Gary Horner is the father of Christian Horner. So it's father versus son in the Ferrari versus Red Bull battle. Obviously they're not really competing against each other this season, as the Ferrari team, along with Mercedes, their car is still a lot better than everyone else's. But we've got a little bit of father-son competition here going on between Gary and Christian Horner. Meanwhile, if we move over to GP3, the junior Ardern Racing team, which is where Gary Horner must have been, they have gone and replaced Gary Horner with Mauricio Arrivabene, so he's actually ended up in GP3. But anyway, we're going to get in. We're still waiting for this suspension build that we started building on the last episode. We've still got a long way to go with some of these upgrades that we put into the car. We've still got quite a bit of upgrading to do with the engines. 30 points or so on this one, 29, and 40 points on this one, so we've still got a long way to go there. We've still got a long way to go with the rear wings that we've got in the car as well. So hopefully that might get us back above Ferrari once we start working on this rear wing. But as it is, we're going to jump straight into our home Grand Prix this weekend. The parts are fitted. Both guys are still really happy with the car. It's a 32 lap race. I don't think it's going to be a one-stop race, since we're possibly going to be on worn super soft tyres. It looks like it's going to be a clear weekend as well here in Guildford, so hopefully we're going to have a good race here, and we'll be back in a second for Q3. So here we go with the first lap in Q3. Norris and Ocon about to start their flying laps. Norris is doing his first flying lap on a used pair of super soft because he had to use 2 pairs in Q2 to get through. He got knocked down to 11th place right at the end, so we had to send him back out to get back above Nico Hulkenberg. He just managed to do that to squeak through into Q3. So his first lap is being done on that used pair of super softs, so this isn't going to be his representative lap here. He goes slowest out of all the cars that have gone across the line so far. Bottas looking pretty handy around here in the McLaren as well. Ocon goes 5th, quicker than the Red Bull of Pascal Wehrlein. Does that mean he's going to be quicker than Daniel Ricciardo though as well? No, he's not. I was hoping for a little bit better than 7th and 9th here, so hopefully we're going to pick up on this when we do our second run in qualifying. But as it is at the moment, 7th and 9th is not the best. I was kind of hoping for a little bit better than that. So here we go with the second qualifying lap. Hopefully we're going to be a bit quicker here and we can improve on this 7th and 9th, although it is a Ferrari and a Red Bull in front of Ocon. It's going to be quite hard to do that. Lynn is already going quicker on this lap. Norris is going quicker. He is on a fresh pair of super softs this time, so hopefully he can improve a bit and maybe jump above Pascal. But Pascal is going quicker this lap. Ocon is actually going slower at the moment, so it looks like Ocon's not going to pick up much time. Is he slower in the second? He goes a little bit quicker in the second sector. Norris jumps above Pascal Wehrlein, but it looks like Wehrlein's going to go and jump Norris. Wehrlein actually stays 9th there, so Norris has moved up 1. Ocon doesn't manage to go any quicker. So here we go with the grid for the 2020 British Grand Prix. Back to usual here. The Mercedes of Hamilton and Vettel back on the front row of the grid. The Mercedes and Ferrari battling it out, possibly for the championship at the end of the season, even though Ocon is currently leading the Drivers' Championship. Kevin Magnussen in the Mercedes is up in third place. Valtteri Bottas on the second row in that McLaren, doing pretty well this season after struggling in the Mercedes and the Ferrari over the last 2 seasons. Daniel Ricciardo seems to have gotten over his injury, is up into 5th in the Red Bull, followed by Alex Lynn in the second Ferrari. Then we have both of our guys on the 4th row of the grid, 7th and 8th, Ocon and Norris, starting on the super soft. We're going to go super soft, then on to the soft, and then onto the medium. It's going to be a 2-stop race for this race. Pascal Wehrlein in the Red Bull in 9th place, and Roman Grosjean parks his Haas in 10th place on the 5th row of the grid. Then we get to the cars that went out in Q2. We've got Nico Hülkenberg in the Renault 11th, Stoffel Van Dorn in the McLaren 12th, Felix Rosenqvist 13th, followed by Sergio Perez in the Force India, Charles Leclerc 15th, and then the cars that went out in Q1. Billy Johnson off the back row of the grid in the Toro Rosso today. Max Verstappen, who is still suffering from a cold, is down in 17th place in the Force India, not having the best of times at the moment. Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso is 18th. Carlos Sainz, who still is struggling as well with a fever, he's got his Haas in 19th place, and Marcus Ericsson is back at the 20th place in the Alfa Romeo Sauber. So hopefully we're going to get a decent start here. We've got a little bit of tyre to burn on this super soft. I need it to do about 6 laps, but Ocon gets an amazing start. So he gets a jump on Alex Lynn, but Danny Ricciardo sorts to hold him up a little bit. So we're going to get pushing here with Ocon in the early going. He seems like he's got some room to try and get past a few cars. We might even try that with Norris, who's dropped down a little bit here. I wanted Norris to go a little bit longer, hoping that he'd get a decent start, but as it is, he's fallen behind Hülkenberg and Leclerc, who's made a really good start, and that is Carlos Sainz getting past him in the Haas, and Pierre Gasly as well. Norris in his home Grand Prix here has fallen all the way down to 15th place. Hopefully he's going to be able to claw these places back now, but we're still pushing. Ocon meanwhile has managed to get past Alex Lynn. He's in front of Pascal Wehrlein, so he's just got the Bottas in front. Where did Hamilton, what happened to Hamilton? Did he have a really bad start here? Hamilton has fallen all the way back and he's struggling trying to get past Van Dorn. Bottas in the McLaren though, out in front here, and Ocon putting Daniel Ricciardo under pressure here. Do we have the pace in this car? Norris meanwhile has moved himself back up to 12th place. He's got a Renault for Nico Hülkenberg in front of him. He's already on the back of Kevin Magnussen here, who's had a really bad start as well. The Mercedes not having the best of starts overall in this race, so we're just going to keep pushing with Lando and Norris. We know we've got a really good engine. There's not a lot of straights around this track, even though the engine is all powerful here, but there's enough fast running here that we should be able to move up the order with Norris here. Hopefully we're just going to keep him pushing for as long as we can. It seems like the track is pretty cool, so we can just keep pushing for a little while. We're not going to push for the front three just yet. We're going to wait with Ocon. His chance of moving up the order is going to come a little bit later in the race. We're just playing the long game with him as we see Norris challenge Magnussen here. Norris trying to go around the outside here, and he got the run on Stoffel Van Dorn as well. Norris gets himself back up into 8th place here. Excellent driving from him, and he's got this little pack of the battling Lynn, Hamilton and Wehrlein in front of him. Looks like he's going to be able to get on the back of this pack as they squabble with each other. Can Norris take advantage of these cars in front? He looks like he's got the pace on Alex Lynn going around the outside. We'll get the inside to the outside on the chicane. Makes that move stick there. Won't have the pace on Lewis Hamilton here, I wouldn't think, but Lewis Hamilton breaks early, sort of gets himself a little messed up here. He switches to the inside. Will Norris get the run on the outside of this corner now as we hit the chicane, and can Norris get his foot down quicker? He's on the outside of Lewis Hamilton right now. Is he going to be able to make this stick? He's not going to be able to make that stick, and we're going to have to get into the pits here pretty early with Norris as he moves himself up into 5th place. We might as well just keep pushing to the pits. He's got himself up into a decent position here. We might switch strategies here, go with the medium with Norris and try and take him as far as we can into the race, and then put him on the soft to finish the race on, whereas Ocon's going to come in for the soft and then switch to the medium. Hopefully this is the right way to go. We've got pretty balanced here. Everyone is alright for the pit stop. These tyres are going to start degrading after this lap, so we're going to get in, and once we're in the pits we're just going to have to sort of recover a little bit with Norris. He's possibly going to lose time after he's been in the pits. And there we go, neutral. If we can set it to neutral. Oh, and a mistake on the front right tyre there puts him out behind Pascal Wehrlein. A mistake on the front right tyre. Not what we wanted there, costing him 3 seconds on that pit stop it cost. But Ocon, meanwhile, Hamilton has sort of been released from that pack now. He's up into 5th place and challenging right at the back of Ocon. Ocon's sort of playing the long game here, but we might as well go attack and overtake mode, because it's going to be time for him to line up his pit stop. He's going to come in for the soft. Hopefully he's not going to have a mistake on his pit stop this time around. I'm guessing we're going to see Ricciardo into the pits as well, who is 1.4 seconds up the road, 1.3, 1.2. We're catching up here, 1.2 into the pits. See how close we can get on the back of Ricciardo, because we know we have quicker pit stops than the Red Bull. Are we going to jump Ricciardo here? But we're pretty close on the exit from the pit. Should we just keep this in overtake mode? We've got a little room to push here. So we come out of the pits in 17th place. We'll just keep pushing for a little bit here. But Norris, meanwhile, not that much further down the road. He's lost about 3 seconds. He is 4.7 seconds behind his teammate now. But hopefully he can just keep running. He's going to play the long game on this medium tyre. Whereas Ocon, meanwhile, we're just going to try and move him up into the podium places effectively if he can get past Danny Rick here. And he does. Danny Rick's onto the harder compound tyre in the early going here. So, Danny Rick's coming back here. So we're just going to keep in overtake mode. Might as well just keep it for the whole of this one lap. So we go there. And who is that in the pits? That's Lynn and Magnussen. We've managed to get ahead of them. I think we were ahead of them anyway, weren't we? It's just Vettel and Hamilton that we've got to close down in front. 21 seconds. I'm not quite sure how long the pit lane is in this game, how long it takes to make a pit stop. 21 seconds seems like it could be close. Maybe we could keep pushing with Ocon and get in front and then maybe cool the tyres down, because they're going to be on used super soft. So if we can get pushing here, we're going to see Vettel. No, Vettel is staying out for an extra lap. Hamilton is in the lap early. Vettel is at 20%, so Vettel's going to see some real degradation on that tyre now. So if we can just keep pushing here, we get in front of Hamilton. We're within 21 seconds now of Sebastian Vettel. If we can keep pushing for this extra lap, I know we've got the life in the tyre just to do this, just about. If we go ahead and do this with Ocon, try and get him track position. We're now 20.3, 20.2. Vettel, the Ferrari, Gary Horner in the team principal at Ferrari, seems to have made a bad call here in pushing. Our tyres are now fully overheated, so we're just going to have to slip back into backup mode. And are we going to get Vettel here? We do. We get in front of Vettel, although Vettel's going to be able to come back at us now because he's on this fresh pair of medium tyres. And we're just going to try cool this soft tyre down a little bit, just so we can sort of slip back into our strategy. Obviously Vettel's going to have the pace on us here now. Hamilton's possibly going to have the pace on us, but I thought it was worth the risk just to see how quick we was, see if we could get that undercut going. Norris, meanwhile, is back in 18th place. He's still behind, just behind the Red Bull Verline and Lynn. They're a little bit further up the road. 3 seconds to Lynn. He's just sort of playing the long game until he can get back onto the soft tyre for his last stint of the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Ocon has been caught and overtaken by Hamilton now on that medium tyre. I think they're pushing a little bit further out here. Hopefully they're going to burn through that medium tyre by competing with us. We're just sort of going back to playing our long game for doing the two-stop strategy. If they push all out here, sort of fade away their tyre and it gets a little bit overheated, maybe, hopefully, we might push them into doing a 3-stop, but now they've been released and start to get up the road. We sort of want to be able to clear Ericsson here pretty quickly so we don't allow Ricciardo to get on the back of us. So we'll just push a little bit longer here, see if we can clear Ericsson around this lap. If we can get past here, that would be absolutely brilliant, and we can just sort of slip back into neutral now. Although, let's just run conserve mode. Let's get this tyre back into the optimal temperature here for Ocon. Meanwhile, Norris is still trundling along here, 18th. He's just running his game still. So we can just sort of concentrate on Ocon for a little bit here as he runs around this track. We've got a big group of cars in front though, so we're going to have to push to clear these so we don't lose too much time. It's a problem when we've got these tyres with the Q3 and Verstappen. What's happened to Verstappen there? Doesn't actually say what that penalty is. Has he got a penalty for something? He's running in 3rd place at the moment. A lot of these cars, these back markers, are going to possibly be running a one-stop race, so we do sort of need to clear them pretty quickly and get on the back of the rest of the cars. So for now, if we go back into conserve mode before these tyres they're just about overheated, just managed to catch it in time. We can see up the road in front of us Vettel and Hamilton absolutely fighting it out here. Hopefully we can take advantage of that, possibly slowing each other down, that we're going to be able to hang on to their coattails here, just hang on just behind them. And we see Hulkenberg, who went a pretty long way on that soft tyre. He managed to get 13 laps out of it coming to the pits. Is Norris going to be able to get past him? Hulkenberg is coming out of the pits. It looks like, no, we don't manage to get in front of Hulkenberg here. So Norris is just going to have to wait for his time at the moment. What can this soft tyre do? 14 laps. So there's only 20 laps remaining here. We've got quite a lot of wear in this medium tyre. So we might as well get pushing now for a little bit with Lando Norris. We can get him pushing. And we're actually a little bit better off for tyre wear than I thought we would be. These tyres seemingly, they've had an extra lap on to what it said, or maybe even 2 laps to what it said before the race the tyre wear was going to be. I'm guessing that's maybe because of the weather. So we can get on to this medium tyre at any point with Ocon. So should we get him pushing, or should we save the pushing for when we're on the medium tyre? If we can just cool this down really quickly and then maybe get pushing, we're sort of in our pit window on both cars now, that we can just push here. So hopefully Norris is going to be able to push for quite a while on this medium tyre. We could have possibly gone soft, but it seems a little bit of a cheat to go with that, and I don't think we would quite have made it. We would have had to be conservative with the tyres as Norris moves up into 15th place, as Gasly in the Toro Rosso has got some problems with his car. This soft tyre, meanwhile, should we get pushing anytime soon? We're a little bit further down the road from Hamilton and Vettel. I don't think they're really catchable in our car at the moment, but we could always get the undercut working on them again. And as we know, the medium tyre is not going to lose performance, but I'm guessing they're going to come out on the soft tyre to do their last stint on. So should we get pushing on this soft tyre now and try and catch them back up a little bit? Meanwhile, Norris, he's still pushing. He's on the back of Stoffel Van Dorn, who's managed to get into the pits and out in front of him as well. Stoffel Van Dorn, if we can catch him and get past him, Norris half a second quicker this lap than his last lap. So if we can just clear Van Dorn here, it puts us back on the Red Bull and Ferrari that Norris was competing with earlier. If we can get past now, as they're getting stuck behind Marcus Ericsson and Billy Johnson, who have yet to pit, 2 of the slowest cars on track. And whilst Verline and Lynn are fighting with each other behind the Sauber and the Toro Rosso, can we take advantage here, knowing that we can push this medium tyre? Can we get Lynn around this lap as well? Hopefully. We've got the inside line now around this long sweeping right hand corner. Have we got the pace on Alex Lynn here? We're going to go around the outside of the Sauber as well. We get 2 cars in one, can we? No, we don't quite get Ericsson, and we do get Ericsson, as Ericsson left the door open for Lynn though. No, the Sauber looks like it's staying in front, which is good news for us, and it looks like we're going to have to start thinking about getting Ocon off this tyre. Where has Ocon moved himself up to here? And he's right on the back of Hamilton. This soft tyre, I think it can go down to 10%, so we might just keep him out this one extra lap. He's already past the pits, so we'll get him in this next lap. He's possibly going to lose a little bit of time on this lap, but Norris, we know these mediums can go pretty much all the way down to being threadbare, and he's going to be coming in, but we might as well just cool down so we can have another quick period of pushing before we pit. We've got the Toro Rosso behind us, who's going to pit at the end of this lap. So if we cool down and then get ready to get pushing again once the Toro Rosso and the Sauber decide to pit, which is going to release the Red Bull and Ferrari behind them. Meanwhile, we've got Ocon pushing still. He's right on the back of Hamilton here, so it looks like we might be in a good position to get this undercut working on this medium tyre. There are 15 laps remaining. This tyre can go a pretty long way, so if we get pushing for a little bit now, we can do that. Norris moves up into 6th place. Obviously, he's still got a pit stop to make. These tyres are now cooled down a little bit. We'll just get them outside the red zone, and then we can get pushing again. We've got Danny Ricciardo in our sights. If we can get the undercut working on him, maybe, but it looks like we're going to be making our pit stop at pretty much the same time, where our pit window is open with Norris from this lap. And we've possibly got another 2 or 3 laps that we can do on this medium whilst pushing all out. So if we can just get out of this red zone now, which I think we've just about done, and then if we get attacking, we might as well run in high mode as well and try to get this undercut working. We've just got to watch the tyre wear on Ocon as well. Hopefully he's going to keep out of getting these 2 heated before we see Hamilton and Vettel pit. They're going a long way on this medium tyre. They do have to pit though. I don't think they've got a pair of super softs left, but they will be going onto the soft tyre to finish this Grand Prix, as Ocon easily clears Max Verstappen there, who's struggling in the Force India during this race. And Norris, meanwhile, is he getting any closer to Danny Rick here? doing about the same times, but Norris is quicker on this lap by 1.2 seconds over his last lap where he was doing a backup lap. So he's closing on Danny Rick pretty quickly as we see Charles Leclerc make his first and only pit stop of the race. We should be able to get back past him here, so it's not going to put us out of picture too much. A 1:13.5 from Lando Norris, showing what he can do on this medium tyre. 1:13.6, a second quicker than Danny Rick. So if we can get on the back of him, if just try and see when Danny Rick is going to come into the pits. Doesn't look like it's going to be this lap, so should we get Norris in this lap, knowing that this tyre now is starting to go back a little bit, we'll just see what the second sector's like. If we're matching the time of the last lap, we might as well stay out because we're going pretty quickly. We're still a second quicker. Let's just see what Danny Rick's doing here. If we see him dive into the pits, we're going to do the same because we know our pit stop's quicker. But he goes round again. So are we quicker? We were only 2 tenths down that lap, so were we quicker? Still a lot quicker as we've closed up this gap now. And meanwhile with Ocon, where are we at? 15.9 seconds behind the leaders. We've made up quite a lot of time here. So we're just going to start cooling this tyre down. We're going to recover the fuel a little bit. And we're going to get Norris into the pits this lap. He's going to go onto this soft tyre. And hopefully we're close enough to Danny Rick now that we can sort of make a move on him. It looks like he might be staying out another lap. So if we can push this soft tyre for that first lap, we might just get the undercut working on the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. So here comes Norris, 5th place. Is Danny Rick going to dive in? No, he doesn't. He wasn't set up, but Norris gets into the pits. Decent pit stop this time, no mistake, as we see the cars go past here. Ocon goes flying past. Who's behind Magnussen, who still needs to pit as well. Grosjean is fixing some parts here, so Norris is out into 14th place. Ricciardo should be lined up this pit stop this time around for his pit stop. Can we get the undercut working here? We're just going to switch it back to medium. Ocon is 16.6 seconds behind. Hopefully that is going to be enough for him to get in front, although I don't think he's going to be able to hold those positions over Vettel and Hamilton. Meanwhile Norris, what's he behind? 25.4. It's about 20 seconds. He was 1 second behind. Currently stuck though, possibly being slowed down by Carlos Sainz here. Danny Rick is coming out of the pits now. It doesn't look like this undercut has worked, getting stuck behind Carlos Sainz, although it's going to be pretty close. And we do. We just make it, almost hitting each other as Ricciardo pulls out of the pits. We get the undercut working there. What has Danny Rick gone on to here? He's gone onto a fresh pair of soft tyres, which he's going to be pushing out of the pits, although it looks like he's running in low fuel mode here. And Ocon, meanwhile, is still closing on Hamilton and Vettel here. Hamilton, are we going to see his pit stop this lap? Have we undercut the Mercedes and Ferrari, who have been too occupied with each other to see the threat coming from our Williams from further back here? Norris, meanwhile, is stuck. Danny Rick is right on his tail here. We're going to have to look after this fuel soon, though. We can't keep pushing as we are. Ricciardo's pushing all out. We've got no real chance because we're going to have to turn down the fuel here as well. If Ricciardo does make it, but luckily we've got Perez there, sort of holding Ricciardo up. Can we clear Perez here and leave Ricciardo stuck behind? If we just push for this last bit and then we get in front of Perez and then we can sort of turn down, but it looks like Danny Rick's going to clear him pretty easily. Meanwhile, Ocon is on here, although currently getting slowed down at the moment by Bottas, who's out in front. Actually, Bottas has come out of nowhere. He's managed to make a pit stop stick and get in front. But there, Hamilton comes out a long way behind us. So it's Bottas who is on for this race win at the moment. Valtteri Bottas coming out of nowhere in the McLaren, playing under the radar as Norris is still fighting off Danny Ricciardo here. Can we keep him away? No, we can't. He gets up the inside. Norris concedes 11th place here. He's possibly going to be out of the points here because we've got some cars. Charles Leclerc is just one stop in this race at the moment. We're going to try and want to catch up with him at some point. Whereas Ocon, meanwhile, 6th place. Vettel is going to pit. We should be able to jump Vettel as well, although Hamilton's coming back really quickly here as Ocon moves up into 5th place as Kevin Magnussen pits. Norris gets in front of the Mercedes of Kevin Magnussen, still behind Daniel Ricciardo. Ocon, though, Hamilton is pushing. We're just holding off a little bit here. 8 laps we've done so far. We're about 50% of this tyre, so we've let Hamilton through. There's no point in holding him behind us, but can we go ahead and keep Vettel behind us now? Looks like Vettel is staying out another lap here, so we're going to try and close up this distance a little bit more. Van Dorn has been in and out of the pits. Allows Norris past him as well. We're just going to cool down this tyre for Norris, so we're going to have a quick period of pushing towards the end of the Grand Prix. Obviously we don't have much fuel to spare with him, but Ocon can push a little bit now, but we might as well cool him down as well. Just so when Vettel pits this lap, if we cool Ocon down, he can get back to pushing this car all out, because this tyre is just about to overheat. Vettel is into the pits. Are we going to get past him here? Meanwhile, Hamilton has managed to clear Valtteri Bottas as well, so Hamilton has moved himself back up into a really good place here as Ocon comes out in front of the Ferrari. Bottas has got problems with his car, so Ocon is up into the podium places here. Norris currently running in a decent 8th place here. He's almost recovered this tyre. Ricciardo shot off down the road, but we want to try and get the move on Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen has moved himself back up into a really good position here, going really long, doing this one stop. He's the best out of the one stoppers at the moment, and I think we've cooled down enough that we can get pushing again with Esteban Ocon. Vettel is closing in. He's on a unused pair of super softs. Was that used when he went onto it? No, did he somehow have a fresh pair of super softs here? Somehow. But we're getting pushing with Norris now, so hopefully we should have the pace to pass Charles Leclerc here and get Norris up into 7th place. Is what's Ricciardo doing at the moment. He's running in all-out low mode, so Ricciardo is a possibility here as Ocon cannot hold off Sebastian Vettel here outside the podium places. We know we've pretty much got no chance of hanging with the Ferrari, but we still have a chance of catching Bottas here. He's got problems with his car. He's running in low mode. His tyres were overheated. Looks like he's low on fuel as well, so Ocon manages to get past. He does manage to get past Valtteri Bottas here. Norris, meanwhile, can we close down Daniel Ricciardo? 3 laps remaining. The fuel's a little bit suspect here, although we've got 3 laps. That should be easily doable. We're going to have to turn back down with Ocon here. We're going to get him running into low mode. We've got no chance. And Ocon, what happened to Bottas? How did Bottas suddenly shoot up the road? Did Bottas get pushing again? Bottas just shot off into the distance there, so Ocon actually falling behind here, so we're going to get attacking once again. I didn't even notice Bottas get past and go flying off into the distance, but Norris, meanwhile, he's got a good chance here of trying to clear Danny Ricciardo, but the tyres are getting a little bit overheated. Ricciardo is well pushing at the moment, so whilst he's pushing, we're going to just cool down, and then if we cool down enough, we might get one last chance at getting past Ricciardo. His tyres are a little bit worse off than ours, so we've got the room at the end of this race to try and get past him. Bottas, meanwhile, 2 seconds ahead. He's just had an amazing second or so. A couple of corners and actually went flying off in front, so he's just going to do the same with Ocon. We're going to try and cool him down a little bit as well. He's going to have one last shot at Valtteri Bottas towards the end of the race. Valtteri Bottas, though, once again slowing down here. His tyres overheated. He's in full on low mode, so should we get pushing from this point forward? We're on the final lap, so we've got to risk it from this lap forward now. The tyres are going to overheat, but we're going to have to push. We've got them cool enough that the lap time should improve. Norris has fallen behind Danny Rick here, though. We shouldn't be able to catch him, so we'll just focus on Ocon. I don't think we've got the pace, though, to catch back up to Valtteri Bottas. We wouldn't have had the pace. His tyres just way too overheated, but we're getting close to Valtteri now, who seems to have slowed down. Is he still running in full on low mode? Are we going to be able to get the podium place here? We've got a couple of corners, the last chicane. Have we got the run on the straight? Looks like Bottas is going to hold on for that podium. Norris, meanwhile, is behind Ricciardo, but a respectable 6th place finish for him. An amazing race from both our 2 guys. We're actually still beating the Red Bulls this season on merit. It looks like we've still got no way of catching the lead Mercedes and Ferrari, but the second Ferrari and the second Mercedes underperforming here. Alex Lynn 7th place, Van Dorn, Kevin Magnussen in 12th place. They're underperforming here, which means that we, even though we kept these places, even though we're 4th and 6th, and the Mercedes and the lead Ferrari both finished 1st and 2nd, we should still be able to hold our position at the top of the Constructors' Championships as we still move on. Last time out, Lewis Hamilton had a risky part that got him demoted. That's not going to happen this time, although Max Verstappen, no, he ended up dropping down. He had to make a second pit stop late on in the race. I thought he'd have been able to hold on to that medium tyre that he was on. Charles Leclerc hung on for points in the Sauber. Esteban Ocon in the Williams 4th, 6th for Norris, as we know. And then we move over. Look at that. It's now tied between Lewis and Esteban Ocon right at the top of the order. Lewis Hamilton's possibly going to be able to run off from this point. There's only going to be Vettel that can stop him. Ocon possibly doesn't have the pace unless we get some really good strategy calls, some rainy races where we know this Williams car really does excel. And we're 27 points still ahead of the Mercedes team. I think they've clawed back 5 points. I think we were 32 points ahead last time. So we're 7 races down this season, 10 races to go. We're still holding on to that first place. Hopefully we can hold on to it for a little bit longer. It's like a little ego boost to the team. Not that we're going to be able to hold it for the full time, but we've got this other suspension part built now, which sits nicely here, which is a 1168. So does that move us up a little bit more? It puts us into the full green now. We're not in this light, lighter shade of green. And is there an extra suspension part we can build? I don't think there is, because it's all risky. We've got a plus 40 to max, which takes some off the reliability. Should we get that one done? Move ourselves up there a little bit. There's not much else we can do. We can get a rear wing built, although there's not much we can do because everything is risky parts now here that we can do there, which is pretty much the same across the board. And the engine as well, we've got a little bit of room to work on the engine. So should we get another engine built here? We've got this one. Obviously we've got this one that we can build and put towards next year's car. So if we get this plus, especially if we do this for next year's car, we've got these 3 parts early on here, which can get us to a 1549 and then a plus 50 as well. So we're going to have a really strong engine next season. But as it is for this season's engine, we can put this one in, plus 35, but plus 2 days. So this one, and then this one. So we move ahead again a little bit, 1489. It's going to take a little bit of time to get going, but we should be able to get it ready in time for Milan, where the engine is going to be crucial again. So yeah, I'm going to get this building, and then we can possibly from that point forward start focusing on next year's cars. There's not much room to improve this car for the rest of this season. So Valtteri Bottas' agent has been telling reporters all over town that you're interested in saying, well, do this one just as usual. It doesn't upset anyone. It keeps him buttered up just in case you want to keep that option open to us. And Paddy Lowe's telling us that the suspension's finished. We're almost there with the test track as well, which means we should be able to build a legendary part on the engine before the end of the season. There's 12 weeks remaining there, which should be able to, yeah, we should be able to get a legendary engine built before the end of the season. So we could be by far and away the best engine next season, which could put us in prime position for keeping this run that we've got going this season well into next season. So if we can get that going, that would be absolutely brilliant. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Another pretty decent race with quite a lot of action. We've got the German Grand Prix coming up next time, but that is it for this episode. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, consider it, leave a like, leave a comment, all the usual stuff. But until next time, I'll see you down the road in Germany for the Munich Grand Prix, and goodbye.